people. Welcome to Side Character Quest. We are on part 2 of Alton's finale. So if you haven't listened to part 1, go back one episode. If you haven't listened to, the rest of Alton's arc, then go back a bunch of episodes. And if you haven't listened to any of the show before, this is one of the worst spots that you could start. So, maybe not this episode, but surely though, another episode, probably a good idea. All right, let's get into the show. Okay, now that all the new listeners are gone, quick recap. Alton zigged, the golem zagged, he made it through the locked doors, down a hallway, and then out into a massive cavern with an unknown underground city. He has gone down to the city streets and is looking around. All right, let's get back to the show. So you sneak forward towards the street corner where you saw some movement, and you see 3 forms. 2 of them appear to be talking. One of them appears to be pushing a cart, or not appears, is pushing a cart from one building to another. But one thing stands out among all of them. One is that you don't actually hear any voices, and 2, in the soft blue light, you can clearly see the white of their completely exposed skulls.
I knew it. I knew it. As soon as you said I was going down, like underground a little bit, I was like, man, it's going to be the skeleton place or something similar. Okay. Cool. I'll keep doing stuff if you keep letting me, but I didn't know if that was where you wanted to dramatically end it.
No, at this point, we are totally off the rails. I'm just going to let you do stuff until you get yourself killed or decide to leave. I really had no plans at this point.
Okay, so me, Mallory, the side character guest, has knowledge of these skeletons a little bit from previous arcs. Alton is probably not down with this, did not know it existed, has probably never seen a moving skeleton before.
No, definitely not. Yeah, this is not common magic.
Yeah, I imagine this is not a place he would dilly-dally in for long. So I'm going to start just sneaking back the way I came. From where I am, can I see the location of this giant golem monster?
So you turn around and you see that this golem monster is standing at the end of that hallway on the balcony and just sort of like looking over the space. So yes, you can see where it is. You have to sort of position yourself on a street that lines up with it, but yes, you can see where it is.
Okay, and it's just chilling on this balcony.
It's just chilling on this balcony, keeping a lookout. Yep.
Great. I am going to... It worried me when you said get yourself killed.
I was just being overly ominous. I don't expect you to die this game.
Okay, good.
I won't stop you, but I don't expect you to.
I don't want to die. I at least have to go and save Wark from his terrible situation. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to panic about these skeletons and... Okay, so there are buildings and shit, right?
Yeah, there's lots of buildings. This seems like it's a pretty sprawling city. You probably aren't entirely sure how big, but it would probably be pretty clear that it's at least the size of Cirque.
Okay.
So it's at least as big as the biggest city you know.
Wow. Churches are sketchy. Hiding all kinds of stuff. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to start making my way quietly and slowly back towards the balcony, just keeping my eye on this monster statue. I forgot what the word was, golem.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing what it does, but more concerned at the moment about the skeleton monsters around me.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm going to say this thing is trying to perceive you.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
It has dark vision, so it is not going to be affected by the fact that there's very low light right now. I'm going to have it roll a perception check, and you can contest it with a stealth check.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say it also has disadvantage because you're like far away from it and you're in between a bunch of streets and stuff. So it does have disadvantage.
Okay. That was still not great. 11.
Yeah, you managed to. Oh boy, if I had not given you that disadvantage, or that disadvantage.
Yikes.
Yeah, it got a 7. So it has not spotted you as you make your way closer to it. So are you just gonna try to go back up that same ramp?
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I feel like, okay.
Go for it.
So how far away, at like the bottom of the ramp that I came up, how far away is the bottom of the other ramp?
Yeah, because there was a ramp coming off either side. So my math is probably a little wonky on this because I'm not sure how. The idea here is that it would be this ramp is gentle enough that you could drive like a cart up it or something without too much trouble. So I'm gonna say pretty far. Maybe let's just say 100 feet.
Okay, cool. And how high up is the balcony?
Probably about 30 feet.
Okay. I am going, man. I feel like I have all these ideas that are just gonna go horribly wrong.
You can roll things to try to figure out things.
Yeah, I know, Ty.
Mm-hmm.
I just never know what to roll. Can I roll an insight, maybe? Check on this gargoyle to see, is it looking for me specifically, or is it just looking for any kind of movement? Or like, how smart is it?
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, roll an insight check.
Not great. 14.
I will tell you, it appears to be looking over a pretty wide area, but it appears to be watching, like, it appears to starting to focus closer to where it is, as if it is more concerned with things that are close to it than things that are far away. So, like, if it thinks that you have run off, it does not care.
Okay.
So this might be a little bit of metagaming, but it's not going to leave its post. That's the impression you get with the 14.
Okay.
Like, it is not concerned with pursuing you.
Okay. If it saw me, would it pursue me? Or it's just trying to keep me from that door?
That would definitely be me telling you more than I feel like I should.
Okay. That's fine.
I imagine, like, regardless of what is factually accurate, I imagine that having taken like 12 damage from this thing, I don't think Alton would be willing to take that risk.
Yeah. But I don't want to be in skeleton land.
Mm-hmm.
Alton doesn't know anything about magic. He's probably wondering how long he has to stay under this blue light before he's a skeleton.
Nice.
Okay. This is fine. I have tools. I have things. Let's see. Like, surely with a burglar's pack, I can cause a damn distraction. Please cut all this silence out while I think.
Oh yeah. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good. Oh, good. Because my original thought was to make some kind of distraction using fire, because I have all this oil.
That's.
But if it's not, if it's probably not, like if it's, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something convoluted. So
okay. The best plans.
The best plans are way too complicated. So I have a hooded lantern.
Yeah.
With hooded lanterns, is it reasonable to think that I could make a shadow on a wall?
Probably.
Okay. I'm going to use my daggers to cut out of my cloak a little halfling, obviously not perfect, but a little hooded figure. I'm going to light my hooded lantern and get, shadow puppet away
puppets
onto the nearest, like the building that's near the ramp that I went down.
Huh. Okay.
So so to paint a picture, I am trying to stand as far, like the wall that the balcony is on.
Yeah.
I am up against it. Yeah. As far, because I feel like, does the ramp kind of curve down?
Yeah, it curves down along the wall.
So I'm trying to stay close to the wall. So like if it looked down, it could see me probably, like directly down.
Yeah.
But like if it was looking out more, it probably wouldn't see me, kind of like that. And
I can see what you're saying.
Make a shadow on the wall. How's try one go?
Okay, I'm gonna have you do two things for me.
Okay.
Because like the way you're painting this, I think that it would definitely see that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have you roll a pretty easy performance check, DC 10, to see how convincing of a halfling thing you make. And then I'm going to have you roll a deception check. That's going to be contested against this thing's wisdom. That's going to be, well, I guess just contested against this thing's wisdom.
Okay, cool. So the first one was an 11, so I'm glad it was a DC 10.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh.
Just made it.
Deception should hopefully be better.
This thing does not have great wisdom, so this is just a golem.
I rolled a 1. Just so the listeners,
how do you do this?
I don't know, but the second roll, do you want to know what the second roll, Ty?
What?
The first roll was a 1. The second roll was a 20.
Wow.
Either so good or so bad. That's the only way I can play D&D.
Yeah, this thing got a 15, which I'm glad you got that 20. Was that
a crit 20? A crit
20. All right.
It's the best shadow puppet that's ever been made.
And this thing is real dumb and has been completely fooled by you. It sees you, or it sees this form walking along the. Oh my gosh! I'm just gonna give this to you. It sees this form walking. So you're next to the. You're like underneath this balcony essentially, and you're projecting it onto a building that is like off a ways down the ramp. So it sees that, and you hear like thud, thud, thud as it like moves across the balcony sort of towards the edge. And then you hear a crack just of like rock breaking. And then you hear nothing for a moment. And then a massive like explosive thud on the ground, maybe 10 feet to your left, as the stone golem has like accidentally tumbled off of the edge of this balcony and hit the ground right next to you, not looking towards you, and is starting to get back to its feet.
Oh God.
It is prone right now.
Okay. It's not looking my way and it's prone.
Yes.
I'm climbing up this wall. I have second story work. Climbing does not cost extra movement, and I can do a running jump that is increased by my dexterity.
That is so awesome. Okay, cool.
I'm climbing up the balcony.
So you climb up this balcony pretty deftly, pretty easily. As you like look down, this golem has just like pulses of blue light emanating from its torso out to its limbs as it like tries to every movement as it tries to right itself. But you pretty deftly get up to the edge. You can see where this thing's feet kicked through the short guard wall that was supposed to keep people from falling off, but I guess it was just too dumb to realize what was happening. And you have found yourself up on the balcony. Are you just going to head the heck out of here?
Yeah, I'm running.
All right. Yeah. So okay. You make your way down this hallway back into the Hall of the Forgotten, which is still super dark. You have your hooded lantern out and are lighting your way with that. That might have been what you used last game. I don't know.
I don't know because I probably forgot that I had it. Because the only reason I realized that I had it is because I was trying frantically to think if I could build a bomb with what I had in my burglars or my thieves' tools. And that seemed like something that would cause more trouble than necessary.
Yeah. So you rush out of this or rush through the shelves, through the shelves in this dark storage space. You make your way through the workspace and then into the lobby of the main building. And what do you do at this point?
I imagine by the time I get to the lobby, I have slowed to working on sneak again. So is anyone in the lobby?
Nope, it is still empty.
Okay, I'm going to look.
It has a... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. It has what?
I was just going to say it has those two windows out into the courtyard. Yeah.
I did remember that. I was going to look to see out the windows if I could see any people walking around.
Okay. At this point, it is considerably later than when you entered. It's probably at least been an hour or so. So it is dead of night. You don't see anyone immediately, but roll me a perception check to see if there's anything else you notice out of the ordinary.
17. So
you do you see that there are some lights on from some of the other buildings. There's nobody walking around as far as you can tell in the courtyard space. But yeah, it's pretty empty, pretty dead out there. But not as dead as the place you just were.
Ha ha. Okay. So so this whole place was surrounded. I just learned that I had second story work right now.
Nice.
How tall was the wall to the
Congress Monastery?
Yeah.
Probably about,
like, to get back out into the city. How tall is that wall?
Yeah, it's not taller than 2 stories.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, I mean the balcony I think I said was 2 stories tall, so
okay, it
would be the same
about
distance.
The same.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna
bail out that way.
I'm gonna put my hood on in case anyone happens to be looking, and they'll just see a random hooded figure climbing the wall and not. Mm-hmm. It's dark. Fuck it. I'm still putting my hood up and climbing the wall out of here.
All right, cool. So you hop over the wall, make your way out, and roll me a stealth check real quick.
Oh no. Ooh, 19. Can add a lot to stealth, thank God.
And also roll me a perception.
Oh God.
Actually, no, you have a passive perception of 15. I'll just give you this.
Yes.
You scale up this wall, sort of sneak over off the other side. You see a few people walking along the roadway, maybe leaving church after some late night prayers or something like that. But it is more or less abandoned. As you scurry down in the shadows, in the darkness, you spot a dwarven form waiting near a tree that you had spoken of with Wark as a meeting place.
Just him?
Just him.
Okay, cool. I go over there.
Wark notices you walking towards him, and he jumps upright. He looks like he was maybe about to doze off.
Alton, how'd you do? I wasn't expecting to see you. Come out okay. Are you doing all right?
Then he sees like a big bruise on your face from when you gotten smacked by it.
Oh no. How do you feel?
Not great. Wark,
what did you find?
There's some wild shit down there, and I feel like it's information that should not be shared with your not friends.
Okay. but
He has the sort of worried look on his face.
isn't it just some gold or some, like, what could the church be holding on to that we can't, that is any worse than anything else she knows, Hosalda knows?
A city full of actual monsters.
He has like a look of confusion and like
Hey,
a slight smile as he's not getting the joke.
Is it possible for skeletons to be alive?
When you say that, he has a look on his face of horror, as he realizes that you are not joking.
Necromancy is a real thing, but I did not know that. Are you saying that that the monastery is practicing necromancy?
I don't know if they're practicing it, but they're definitely keeping it hidden if it's not them. There's a whole city as big as Cirque. Like, I guess I could assume that it's full of skeletons. I saw 3.
He looks very, very concerned.
The idea of Hosalda finding information about how to do about necromancy, and that I don't know that I can live with myself to share that sort of dangerous information with someone like her.
Don't worry. I have a plan. And I can't tie real quick.
Yeah.
Out of game. I can't remember. I stole something from the Hall of
Oh,
Things.
what it was?
I can't remember what it was, because I know I stole something for just me, but it was a book. It was a book.
The book.
It was a book. Okay. Don't worry, I have a plan. And I pull out this book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, how knowledgeable is Hosalda about arcane stuff? Can you convince her that this is what they were hiding? And I give him this old magical looking book.
That is so smart. He takes it from your hands and looks over it.
I think this will do. This is ancient.
He starts flipping through it. And he says,
This is referencing gods that I've never heard of. I'm sure Hosalda won't know of them either. Rituals, and certainly it'll at least buy us some time.
Sounds like something a church would try to hide.
Exactly. I think this could buy us enough time to find some way to get away from this.
all of your life, the circle has sat ancient and impenetrable, just north of your city Cirque. Never would you have guessed that a way in was known, and never would you have thought such a massive secret would be kept. But now, that's not what's important. What's important is keeping yourself and your friends, old and new, safe. So, until next time, this has been Side Character Quest. Thanks,
Yay!
Mallory. Yay!
I love it. I'm so happy I didn't die.
Oh man, I was really actually let's end there. So this has been Side Character Quest. If you've been enjoying the show, please, rate and review on iTunes and things like that. I feel like I haven't said that much during the course of this show, so I'm just gonna do it. Hey, do that please. I'd really appreciate it. And send us emails at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com. In one of the previous episodes, Eli said seqpodcast@gmail.com. So guess what? I signed up for that email address as well, so I didn't have to edit it. And send us tweets and all that stuff. We enjoy you guys.
Send Ty a bunch of emails about how much you love Alton and need another character or another arc with Alton because I want to come back and I hate making characters.
I have ideas for
Yay.
how. I mean, obviously, like I think we've set this up pretty well that we could very easily have a return for Alton. All right, folks, have a great time. Until next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thanks to the Joy Drops for the use of Not Drunk as our intro and outro music. Find them at thejoydrops.com. You can find us at sidecharacterquest.com, at SCQ Podcast on Twitter, or by email at sidecharacterquest@gmail.com.
This is going to get cut and put in the bloopers.
Maybe, gosh, I really hope that my mic isn't picking up that garbage truck.
If it helps,
so
I can hear it on
let's
headphones if you want to wait.
Yeah, let's wait for a moment.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna take the opportunity to use the restroom.
Okay.
All right. It's so loud.
It's pretty loud.
It's crazy.
Please cut this out. You always say that you're going to cut things out and then you don't.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I had expected this to go very differently. For some reason I'd convinced, like, my worry was that you were going to try to fight the golem head on and it was going to like fucking kill you.
For sure.
Yeah. Because I made it way weaker. Like I took it from 178 hit points to 100. I did a bunch of stuff. So here, like, ways that I had conceived of you, like, going in there.
Time out. Do we want to go ahead and stop the recordings and stuff, or do we want to keep going?
Let's keep it going.
Okay.
Just in case, like, I feel like last time we kept talking, like, there was something that afterwards we were like, shit, that should have been for the bloopers. So yeah, ways that I anticipated this going, or things that I had in mind. The obvious one I think was to leave the room you're in, go find Wark, and like come back and just try to fight the thing two on one instead of 1-on-1. He had some cool magical stuff that would work pretty well. One of the things that I changed about the stone golem is that apparently, like, piercing, bludgeoning, and slashing attacks against a normal stone golem are, like, it is immune to those because it's made of rock.
But I had 2 daggers.
So normally they're immune to magical resistance versions of that. So I took away that immunity because I was like, you're just going to be completely screwed if you fight it on 1-on-1. So I took that away. But another thing that I gave it was which I was just waiting for you to like roll a perception check or an investigation on the golem, like while you were, you know, in its presence on that specifically. But it had every time it moved, a pulse of blue light ran down these like angular lines covering its body. And the light was all emanating from a crystal in its back. And so if you had removed that crystal, it would have like deactivated.
Okay.
So that was another way. Another thing was the room that you were in was like full of various artifacts. And I thought it was possible you might like look around and try to find something that you could potentially use. And so I would have done some like random item generation.
Yeah, that was my first thought, was to look around and see what I could find, because I imagined there would be some kind of magical stuff that would help me. But Alton doesn't know anything about, he wouldn't know how to use it if he found it.
Yeah.
And B, I was like, if I do this, the thing is going to get a full turn on me instead of just an opportunity attack.
Very fair.
It probably attacks twice.
Very
I don't know if I could handle 2 hits.
I one thing that I thought was like pretty likely as the sort of thing that like I wouldn't have wanted you to do, but you know, plans not knowing how they were going to play out. I thought it was very possible that you would like go into the shadows real quick away from this thing and then knock down a bunch of shelves to try to distract it and then then try to slip past it. So I was expecting something like that. Also, earlier in the game, I thought it was possible that you would find one of the monks and try to like convince them to take you in, either through like threat or, which I didn't really expect, threat or bribing or trickery or something like that. So lots of different options on there.
Just a straightforward run. That's what I decided to go. Just a straightforward
run. That was what I was like. I can put in lots of like little difficulties and stuff to extend it, but instead it was like straightforward run, and I was like, well, fuck, I can't really do anything here.
So you were originally planning on it ending with me getting to this walled city or this city, in the dome.
So this was the original narration. And I'm just going to read it straight, even if there's something that I would have changed, in the moment. Stepping through the gate, there is a short hallway, maybe 20 to 40 feet long. The gate being like the doorway that that was locked. At the end, you feel the air open up as if you've just entered a much larger space. You find yourself on a balcony with a short wall on the edge. There's a soft glow of blue light filling the space, but it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust. As they do, you find yourself looking over what appears to be a sprawling city set into the ground and protected by a massive dome. All of your life, the circle has sat, ancient and impenetrable, just north of your city, Cirque. Never would you have guessed that a way in was known. Never would you have thought such a massive secret would be kept. You move forward to the edge of the balcony and look over the short wall. And you see that this city is not dead. You see people walking from building to building, some pushing carts, a few appear to be talking to one another, a few talking to one another on a street corner. But one thing unites them. In the pale blue light, not much brighter than a waning moon, you can clearly see their skulls gleaming. This city is not dead, but it is undead. And that's how I planned on ending it. But I think that this actually works a little bit better, because what I wanted to do a like post-show thing where I asked you what you were planning on doing immediately afterwards. And I think that this works better as like we have set up that you are planning on sneaking away with Wark and Danny, or like doing something to deal with Hosalda.
Right.
Which I think is better. So I think this is actually like worked out for the best.
Yay!
It's also.
I was worried that I broke the podcast.
No, I think like what kills me is like this is one of the first times that I've ever every time I decide I'm actually going to write narration, it like does not work out. So here's something. The golem is roughly 8 feet. Making it much bigger than you. It is unarmed, but it doesn't look like it needs weapons. With every movement, a pulse of blue light streaks across its body, following angular inscriptions. And yeah, that was what that was gonna say. And I was also
sorry, I didn't get to either of those.
Oh man, I had so much stuff. I'm looking at I wrote a lot.
Oh no.
The door, most of it's not like particularly. Most of it's more notes than actual like narration. The doors are built into a 6 foot tall archway in a thick stone wall. The wall and doors are fairly utilitarian with no decoration or engravings, but the lock is remarkably ornate. The many engravings hide the rune that protects the lock from magical spells that might open it.
Nice.
But yeah, I think this worked out pretty well. Oh man. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to turn off the recording unless you have something else.
Before
yes,
you turn off the recording, I did just now, sitting here, realize that I left the door guarding a city full of skeletons unlocked.
And open.
And just wide fucking open.
Yeah.
As I sprinted through. But I guess if I had relocked it back, and people came and were just like, where's the golem? How's the door still locked? It'd be pretty obvious that it was me that did it.
Yeah. So
see, this just makes me look like a shitty locksmith. Like, I can handle that.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's so. Oh, so this is an interesting thought. So what it'll look like, this just occurred to me. The golem, I said, punched the door open behind you, so it'll look like the golem malfunctioned and busted the door instead of you unlocking it.
All a part of the plan.
That actually works out pretty well for you, for keeping your what's the word?
Reputation
well taken care of. The golem is also going to be like just fucking missing unless it like, I mean, it could just return to its post, because it's not like it was dead. It was just prone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible that it'll come back to where it was. But yeah, dog. Do you have any questions about any of the characters or any other things that I had planned?
Oh, I do have another question. Because Eli pointed this out and I forgot, because I know you told me at some point that Lord Cedric, which is who I talked to at the party, right?
Yes.
Is somehow related to Roderick.
Yes. He is the grandfather of Roderick.
And he's just the priest of darkness?
Yeah. So
when you said that, so like, because I know little about the gods of the world other than what you've discussed with me and like what happened in Eli's arc, but it just didn't really occur to me until Eli and I were listening to it together when he was like, he's the priest of darkness?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I guess that's what Nox is.
So you can choose whether to share this with Eli. But my understanding of how I treat that, or how I treat religion in this world, is there is a expectation, and the Congress Monastery is sort of like set up to maintain this. There is an expectation that all gods, whether or not they deserve worship, they demand worship.
Okay.
In this world, all gods like they either deserve worship or they demand it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there is an expectation that Nox, like if no one worshipped him, if no one did his rituals and stuff, he would not be happy and he would make bad things happen.
Okay.
And or bad people would take advantage of the absence and they would start worshiping him. And if they could be like, if there wasn't already like a primary priest of Nox, then somebody real shitty would start doing it and gain his favor, and they don't want that to happen. So the priests of Lumen have taken a responsibility onto themselves that once a new head priest of Lumen is in place, once one of them has been trained up to take that role, the current head priest of Lumen will retire from that role and will worship Nox, so that no one else has to.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So because their thought process is Nox is so terrible that we don't want to put anyone else in that position. So that means that so Lord Cedric expects that at some point Lord Frederick will take up over his role, and Lord Frederick expects that at some point currently Sir Roderick will take on the role of High Priest of Lumen, and then will eventually take on the role of High Priest of Nox.
Rip.
Yep. Which is also why they sort of expect. I don't know if Eli's told you anything about the family dynamics that he has planned for or that he had planned for them, but there was an expectation that like Roderick would have a child and would train that child to take over that role as well. But that has not happened. So
All right.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like I said, it's not like when you said that, I was like, oh, cool, just one of the gods. But Eli was like, what?
What? Yeah. He messaged me and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. I was like, yeah, man. So yeah, you can decide whether or not to share that with Eli. But yeah, that's that situation.
Nice.
That's the gist of that stuff. Anything else?
Not at the moment. I'll probably think of stuff and message you about it.
Cool. Okay, this is
I'm kind of sad.
Huh?
Now I'm kind of sad.
Oh, that this is the end?
The story arc is over.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you a few other bits of trivia that I don't
Okay.
think that came up. So Wark, he referenced having his career stolen away from him by like he had one of his fingers cut off, and he also had his career stolen by Hosalda. He prior to all of this was known as like one of the best fiddlers in the area. He's still fairly good, but he is like not nearly as good as he was when he had more fingers. And he was one of the fiddle players in the band at the gala. So he was there during that time period. Not and Iver are based off of Ty and Autumn, me and my twin sister. So not as opposed to Ty, or not you Ty not. Then and Hiver means winter in French. So like, yeah. And I tried to describe their body types as being fairly similar to ours. So like, she's pretty tall, but a little bit like more sturdily built than me. I'm very tall and thin. And then I was like, yeah, so despite the fact that one's green and one's white, they have very similar like horns and they look pretty similar. So that was supposed to be like family resemblance. So they are twins.
That's adorable. Please include that in the bloopers.
I will include
It's not a
those in the
blooper, but
bloopers.
it's just interesting information.
All right, will do. I'm going to stop recording now.
Because it's getting kind of long.
Yeah.